Alright everyone, so we have our first game here. This first game happened to go very fast, but we have two other ones following this one. But this one is against a player, a reg at the $33 level on Juicy Stakes. Goes by the name of Left Alone. A winning player. Um, just a little bit of notes. I'm just going to keep my opening range pretty wide and nothing too complex. Just going to keep the pressure on him and just catch him in a few good spots. So first hand here we open up with Ace King. Sorry, second hand. He three bets and I think flatting there is just terrible. I know he's capable of three betting quite a bit, so I decided to four bet him and he shoved. So pretty standard there with the Ace King. Um, Not too crazy about him doing that with Ace Jack, but we get it in anyways and we hold, which is awesome. Sorry about my hand history being a little upside down there, but it's something I just have to fix up real fast. Right here he shoves with 6-2. I have Jack 5. Literally no brainer there. He's so short stacked. I'm pretty much calling with any two there, and with a little bit of paint in my hand, definitely calling that. Right here the blinds are still a little bit. I mean, it's still 10-20, so I'm not going to be open shoving a lot of hands. I'm literally just going to be min raising and either folding or calling with a hand like 8-10 as well. Just not going to make it easy on him and just keep on shoving with random hands. Obviously I do have a open shove range at these stacks, but with his blind so low, I mean he's still got 5 big blinds left, which is, I mean, on the low end, but I'm still not going to be shoving with like a 7-2 offsuit, obviously. So my apologies with this guy as well. Usually not this slow to make his decisions, but this time around he just took his sweet time. And unfortunately for us, we were on the bad end of that. So just bear with me. It will give us some time to talk about some pretty good spots if he does, decide to continue on with this stalling. But so far, only really good spot was with that Ace King, and that was all pretty standard. So he times out and comes right back. 4-7, definitely folding there. King 3, I decided to fold. I mean, Nash says it's 12.2, so I mean, I could have definitely called there. I just feel like he's still folding a lot, out of position and in position, so I just don't feel like he's shoving with anything that terrible. So I'm not convinced yet that I'm calling off with just random hands, because I just know that he's not just shoving with any two as of right now. If he keeps it up, I'm definitely gonna end up calling with like a hand like Queen 4, but not yet. So Ace 5 here, pretty standard shove, and he happens to wake up with pocket aces, which is just so unfortunate. But sometimes you just roll bad. 10-2 here is an easy fold if he shoves. So now he's opening up his shoving range a little bit more. So now I'm convinced that I will definitely open up my open shove and calling range, because he seems to be very aggressive on his button. So right here he flats us, which was kind of weird, him being so short stacked. But we decide to try to rep something on this very heavy board, and unfortunately he clicks back and we have no choice but to fold there. I mean, when you get somebody who's coming back slowly, there's no reason to get antsy and to start looking for a spot to shove. Just stay under control, don't get impatient, and you know what, your time will come. Like he's not gonna wake up with pocket aces all the time. By no means are we in a situation where we're worried about anything that's going on right now. We have him out chipped, and I feel pretty confident against this guy as is. So right here, King Queen, I definitely would have been three betting that hand. and pretty much shoving on any flop. 10-9 once again, just not good enough to call right there. Queen 3 is a definite fold. Decided just to limp 6-5 here. Definitely wanted to see a flop, but didn't want to get 3-bet. Decided to lead his flop, and a lot of the times against definitely regs here, you have to barrel this board just to rep an ace or something worthwhile, because they're gonna flat you with a lot of hands there, a lot of air. So that second barrel is usually a must in most circumstances. And if he does call me there, I pretty much just check fold the river, try to get the showdown with my pair of fives. Right here, ace-7 once again, 13 big blinds, 14 big blinds, open shove, definitely. And he decides to flat with a king 2. Nash says that's about 11.6, so that's a little outside of Nash's range. Not the greatest call on his part, but good for us. So next game here, definitely some more better spots in this game, so not going to be involved on the second hand of the game. We have ace king here, and he's limping. Obviously, with a primo like ace king, we're going to obviously be raising his limp. 80 is fine. Usually with a hand that plays a little better post flop, I'll make it like 65. So right here is an interesting spot. He does click back here. Most of the time, that's a very, very good sign for strength. So I'm just gonna play this with a little conservatively. He doesn't fire on the flop. Min bets the turn and just ends up with ace king there. So just to note, he does limp raise big hands. Doesn't like to bet flops when he doesn't hit. In most circumstances, I'm always betting that flop. And so he played it pretty tight. So right here we have Jack 8. We bet, the flop, obviously top pair. I'm not gonna barrel the 2 because 5-6 gets there, the flush gets there, and I don't think I'm getting a lot of equity calls by making that bet. So I decided to check it. See an extra card, reevaluate the river, and it works out for the best. We hit our 8, we get a bet out of him, and obviously raise for value when he folds. So that hand worked out pretty well for us. So right here, obviously, he checks back, the flop. So I decided to fire on the turn. Still relist pretty much here, and I decided to, fire away on that ace. Not a bad card to barrel with, and he did flat with a king 6. So right off the bat, we're finding out that he is playing his hands very, very tightly. Didn't want to bet top pair on the flop, so we're just going to be a little more cautious when he's just calling us down, and that's pretty much the only minor adjustment I'm going to do right now. Right here, I think about barreling the 8 there, but once again, as you know, one of the notes we just picked up is that he doesn't like betting his hands. So he's going to be calling us down quite a bit with, King X and 10X there, and he's definitely not folding either of those to an 8 turn. So we just have to check fold there. Right here, we decide to 3-bet Queen Jack suited. Definitely bet on this board. Not a great board, but we could definitely rep the ace pretty well there. And if he calls, we reevaluate the turn. Fortunately, he folds and we take it down. So there's another interesting spot. He decides to bet out on the turn. So let's actually talk about this hand after it's done a little more in depth there. Alright, so we open this hand with ace-10 suited. Ace-10 suited, he does flat calls. So Flop comes 10-3-7, all clubs, and when he leads out for 100 there, I'm not too worried about hands like pocket pair because I'm pretty sure that he's going to be 3-betting any big pocket pair. Um, Not really worried about hands like 9-8 because I just don't feel like somebody's doing that on such a wet board with a straight draw and just the flush is just looking him right in the face. Definitely noted before that he does definitely play his top pair a little, tighter than usual. So when he leads out here, I have him more on like a mid pair and some kind of like maybe flush draw, something like that. Definitely, definitely not too worried about it. So when he bets out, we decide to flat call. Don't want to build the pot without too many reads. When the six hits, once again, not too worried about 9-8 there at all. So I decide definitely to call his turn barrel as well. That was 200. And when the river hit, not crazy about it at all. Um, but thankfully he did check the river, and obviously we checked back, and it turned out that he had mid pairs. So would have been a very interesting, spot on the river if he did bet, but thankfully we didn't have to get that far, and he showed middle pairs. So pretty much what we had him on, mid pair. Um, Fortunately, he didn't have the club to go with it, but overall, I think we played the hand pretty well. Not too aggressive, but enough where we did everything right and took down a fairly big pot. Definitely interesting hand, and definitely worth noting that he does donk bet middle pair and is definitely capable of barreling with a middle pair as well without picking up any equity. So yeah, let's continue on with the following hands. We have Queen 9, open up once again. Definitely see betting. Now he bets the turn there on a donk bet. Min donk bet, it looks so weak to me. If anything, maybe he picked up like a flush draw, but I'm going to make it expensive for him there. So he flats re-raise, and not really worried about 5-6. Definitely betting this for value. Uh, if he does re-raise here, I'm probably folding. It's close. I just don't see him a guy of this, his style. I don't see him raising there without anything better than two pair. But he folds, and we take the pot down once again. It's right here. Pot. We have bottom pair, and you always want to be pretty aggressive with bottom pair. If you plan on calling, if he bets on the flop, you might as well raise because you want to be the aggressor once again. So right there, once again, calling with two overs. Nothing too special. Right here, gonna bet mid pair for value. Jack is definitely a pretty good barrel card. So I decide just to make a small barrel. And I'm just going to check back the river here. If I had a better kicker, I might think about betting there, but 7x is still calling, 5x with a better kicker. I'm definitely capable of calling. He ended up having the the bottom pair, which he might have called, but it's a little bit too thin for me with the 5-6 there. So right here we hit the nuts on the river. Hand went pretty standard, and he shoved obviously, and we're not folding. And he happens to have the nuts as well. So right there, that also tells us that his re-raises on the river are definitely strength worthy, and that's kind of what we thought, anyways. So our reads seem to be looking pretty right as of now. So game going pretty smoothly. So right here with the 5-8, we decided to play this pretty passively. You've seen him, slow play his top pair before, and this is just a board that, doesn't hit us at all. And even if we wanted to take a pot like that down, it would take like two barrels, and I'm not willing to bet all that on a hand where I know he definitely slow plays top pair. So once again, betting middle pair. Not 9 barrel at all. So I decided just to check it back. And when he fires the river, Um, there's just not too much I beat here. He hasn't really done that at all lately. The flush got there. Jack X is there. 5-8 got there on the turn. There's so much that beats me. I just decided to